Now, you may not know this, but apparently Colin is rather musical.
You're joking? I've heard him sing.
Well, apparently so. He can play musical instruments, including the banjo, the guitar, the drums, the piano, and even the violin.
Who'd have thought that, eh?
So he's told us anyway.
So we decided to send him to violin class at Glasgow Kelvin College. Now, Colin, are you sure we don't need earplugs?
I'm sure you two won't need any earplugs, but I can't speak on behalf of the people here at the college. Yes, I'm here for the Glasgow Fiddle workshop, and it's the fiddle as opposed to the violin. The fiddle is to do with Scottish traditional music, and the violin's classical, so more on that later on. It's for people of all ages and some who can't read music. It's all about playing by ear. So shortly I'll be speaking to some of the tutors about that, and then I will tune up and see if I've still got it.
I'm no violin expert, but I think I need a bow rather than that microphone.
It could be difficult with a mic, yeah.
Okay, see how he gets on with that. Now, Colin is rather talented. He can pole dance, ride a flyboard over a lock, and I just found out that he's in 3 bands, apparently one of which he screams in.
Right. Well, he is a busy lad, isn't he? So, due to his musical greatness, we've asked him to play the fiddle live on the show. Let's see how he's getting on.
Well, Jennifer, the group are warming up behind me, and with me now are 2 of the senior tutors from Glasgow Fiddle Workshop, Finlay Ellison and Dan Thorpe. Now, first of all, what is the difference between a fiddle and a violin?
It's exactly the same instrument, it's just what you do on it. The violin is predominantly for classical music, but when you're playing folk music, Scottish dance music, anything like that, it's fiddle playing.
Fantastic. And what are the group doing behind us at the moment?
This is the warm-up before we go to classes. On a Wednesday night, it's mostly fiddles that we have. On Monday nights, we have all the other instruments you'll see range behind us. But this is just a wee warm-up before you go to class and do your lesson.
And Dan, you're also a senior tutor. What's the kind of range of experience you get coming to you?
Well, we have everything from absolutely no experience whatsoever, so complete beginners, all the way through to advanced players who've been playing for 5, 6, 7, 10, 15, as long as you like, really. We've got a whole range of ages as well.
And do you need to be able to read music to come along?
No, you don't need any music reading experience, it's all taught by ear. So you can come having not read a note of music, having not played anything, and hopefully learn something reasonably quickly.
As for the GFW classes, they're not just about learning a musical instrument, are they?
Well, you know, it's a wonderful, friendly kind of place to come along, meet new friends, play music together. We play pub sessions, we have lots of activities that people can take their music further. It's not just about lessons, it's about a social use of music. It's really useful especially for lifelong learning.
And as for the tutors, you know, a mix of professional and involvements in Celtic connections too.
Yeah, well, with mostly professional, a few semi-professional tutors. A lot of the tutors have gigs at Celtic Connections, but more importantly than that, we have come and try sessions for GFW at Celtic Connections, which is in January. So we have come and tries for whistle, for ukulele, for fiddle. So if you fancy giving it a go and you've got no experience, you can come along to those.
And Finlay, you know, you're talking about people who come along to the workshops. How would you encourage people to come along if they've never played a musical instrument?
Well, I think a lot of people have done formal music at school and thought, well, it's for professionals, I'm a listener, I'm a consumer, that this is participation, everybody can play.
Lovely. It's here at the Glasgow Kelvin College. Come back to me later on, I'll be joining in with the group behind me. Back to you.
And now we're going to cross over live to Colin to see if he can play with the grown-ups.
Well, Jennifer, of course I can play with the grown-ups, and I'm about to show you. And with me now is Dan Thorpe. Now, Dan, what are the very basics of playing the fiddle for someone who's never played before?
Well, there are 2 main components to a fiddle, obviously. And you've got this bit, which is the bow, which when you draw it across the strings makes a sound. And you've got this bit, which is the fiddle, which when you put your fingers on the fingerboard, you make lots of different notes, create tunes, harmonies, lots of fun stuff.
Do you want to show us how you hold it? And we'll...
So the fiddle always goes in your left hand. You want to try and get it as high up your shoulder as you can. And then the bone grip is a little bit odd, but it's kind of almost like, I always think of it as a very, very floppy hand. A floppy hand trying to hold on to the bow. And then from there you just place it on the string and then just draw it backwards and forwards.
And as for the GFW here, the fiddle workshops, people don't need to be able to read music, it's all about playing by ear?
Yeah, it's all about playing by ear, so we do everything with notation that isn't complicated. So it's not written notation. We learn it by ear. We send people away with videos, with recordings, everything they need to try and make it as easy for them to learn as possible.
We were talking earlier about fiddle music, but what about here in Glasgow? Is it as popular as it used to be?
I think it's more popular than it's been for a long time. Not just fiddle music, all kinds of Scottish music. I think the scene in Glasgow is very, very strong at the moment and just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
And what would you say to people who perhaps have never played, there's not just a stringed instrument, but any instrument before?
Give it a go. I think it's very, very rewarding. I think they'll surprise themselves. It's not as difficult as it looks a lot of the time, and you can get a lot of enjoyment out of playing music at any level.
Indeed you can, and I'm going to see if I can give you some enjoyment with my interesting fiddle playing. Right, let's see if I can do this. Okay, this one is called the High Road to Linton. Let's see how this goes. It doesn't start. Wait. Oh, I've got it. Here we go. Let's skip to the next bit. Anyone applause? No, okay. Thank you. Okay, so as for the playing here, what do I need to work on?
Remembering the tune would be a good start. That would probably be the most useful thing. Other than that, just trying to work on trying to keep your bow as smooth as you possibly can. Playing not always at the top end, trying to keep it down near the middle. It'll just help your tone quite a lot. Also as well, not rushing things, taking things at a nice steady pace. Try and be as realistic as you can about what level you're playing at.
Right, so let's see if we can do a duet here. Let's go. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Lovely. So that's the Glasgow Fiddle Workshops in Glasgow Kelvin College with Dan Thorpe. Dan, thank you very much. And there we go. I found something I can do. Back to you.
Well done, Colin. I'm very impressed.
That was good.
Very, very good effort.